Hi everyone. The name of this story is Caught My Wife Cheating on Me, and I know exactly when it started. Before we jump into today's video, we need your help. We are a new channel, so consider helping out by subscribing. It's free but means a lot to us and can help us bring you more awesome content. Thanks a lot. Now, let's get started. I, 44M, and my SDBX F39 have been married for 11 years, no kids. We were a pretty chubby couple until 2 years ago when I had a blood test, and it came out that I was prone to contracting diabetes, gout, and hypertension. It really scared me, and we both bit by bit started to have a very healthy life. I went from 117 to 85 kilograms, and my wife, let's call her Jane, went from 83 to 65 kilograms. We felt great, and needless to say, I never developed those diseases. We attended a gym almost daily in the afternoon where AP worked as a coach. Let's call him Baldy. When my wife started getting in shape, I noticed most guys turned to see her. I felt so proud of her. She is fairly busty, and she has magnificent legs. Of course, Baldy wasn't the exception. I noticed Baldy likes to check women's butts. I've seen him doing it several times, and he likes to show off how ripped he is. When Jane and I were regulars at the gym, I noticed she was enjoying the attention she got from men. Once we were using the elliptical machines. In front of them, there's a cable machine. Baldy took off his t-shirt and started doing crossovers. I turned to Jane with my face of, "Can you believe this guy?" But she was staring at him, and she wet her lips. I saw Baldy, and I swear he was grinning. I felt crushed. I was getting in shape, but I'm not as muscular and fit as he is. When we were driving home, I made a comment about Baldy showing off, and Jane said, "Really?" I didn't notice. I told her, "You were staring." She said, "I don't remember. I must have been thinking about something else." I shrugged it off and kept driving, but from then on I noticed they were talking more frequently at the gym. Some weeks later, Jane was doing squats using the Smith machine. Suddenly Baldy went to help her. Isn't he nice? He was grabbing her by the waist, and I got angry. She finished the first set, and I got there and told him in a not nice way, "I got it from here." Baldy just smiled and told me, "No prob, buddy," he calls everybody buddy, and walked off. Jane knows me very well, and when she heard my angry tone, she said, "My God, Opie." I told her, "We'll discuss this at home." At home, drama blew up. She called me immature and jealous. I told her I noticed he was trying to get into her pants. She said that she knows that, but she would never cheat on me. I said, "Then why did she let him touch her?" And she said she didn't want to be rude. About an hour later, arguing, we agreed to change gyms. So we went to another place to do exercise, but Jane was resentful at me in the following months. Her argument was that I don't trust her. In the third month after we changed gyms, a very good opportunity opened up at my job, but in the afternoon. We discussed it, and I took it, and we had to attend the gym at different hours. I went in the morning, and Jane went in the afternoon. This is when it all went south. Jane's resentment increased, and we barely speak. I sent her messages telling her about my day, that I miss her, and memes. But she rarely replied, or just said, "Yes, okay, same here, haha." I was very worried and proposed couple therapy. She said I was the one who needed therapy because I'm the one with trust issues. I agreed. I was so desperate to fix our marriage that I even thought it was all my fault. So the following year, 2022, I went to therapy, but Jane's behavior didn't change. We weren't intimate anymore. She was never in the mood. I snooped on her phone, but didn't find anything out of the ordinary. I looked into her car for a second phone. Nothing. I checked her phone again to see her map history. It only showed me house, work, house, gym, house. Whenever I tried to talk to her, she just said she felt that she was having a 40s phase. It'll pass. I never had any evidence of cheating, so I continued working and worrying. We live in a condo. The security guard, a very cheerful man called Mr. P, greeted me. We chat a lot. He was touching his shoulder and told me yesterday he had to move a heavy sofa, and he has some pain today. I was sympathetic, and he dropped the bomb. "Maybe you can arrange a meeting with your massage therapist," I told him. "Who?" He said, "The guy who came yesterday to massage Mrs. Jane." It took me a second to process this. I told him, "Do you have a video of him?" I think he noticed I was pale and hurried to show me. Guess who? Baldy, of course. He has come a few times to massage my wife. I took the day off and started investigating. I asked a coworker for his car, and in the afternoon, I followed Jane. She parked her car at the mall where the gym is, and there's Baldy waiting for her. They giggle and behave like a couple. Kisses, hugs, and I feel nearly to tear. They walk a couple of blocks and go into a residential area. I try to follow them with my phone ready to record, but the guard stopped me and asked, "Can I help you?" I just said, "What a nice couple. Do you know them?" He said he thinks they're newlyweds, but can't tell me anything else. I called Jane, but she never answered. I went to her car in a mall and wondered why that place doesn't show on the map. I dial again, and I can hear her phone inside her car. That's why. I also found out Jane hasn't attended the gym in 8 months. I didn't know that the previous night was the last day I slept with Jane in the same bed. I returned the car and went home and called my parents. Fortunately, my dad answered, and I told him everything. I was crying, and he comforted me and told me to get evidence. Obviously, my marriage is over, and I need all I can gather while he'll contact one of his friends who is an excellent divorce lawyer. Jane called me when she saw the 2 missing calls. I just told her I was already at home, and she told me, "I'm on my way from the gym. My butt is killing me." Yeah, I can guess. When she saw me, she asked, "What happened? Why did you cry?" I don't know how, but I was mentally focused. I smiled and told her I got the flu. That's why I left work early. "Don't come near me. It might be the bug. I'll be tested tomorrow. I'll sleep in the spare room." She agreed. I cried silently and didn't sleep a wink. Near midnight, I heard her giggling. I guess she's messaging Baldy, but I didn't find any evidence of her contacting another man. Then it hit me. Why didn't I see it earlier? I bet AP is disguised as one of her female co-workers. In the morning while Jane was in the shower, I took her phone and created a session on my laptop and put her phone back in the same place. We both can unlock our phones. The session works while the phone is close to my laptop or in the same Wi-Fi account. Then I saw it, under a female name. The profile picture was a dumbbell. I entered, and most of the conversations were deleted. I guess they use work words as code in case I snooped. "Can you deliver the papers at my desk?" I know she doesn't have a desk at work. "Going to the meeting. Where are you?" On top of them. Boss is in his office. He's clueless, pretty clever. I guess I am boss because I know her boss is a woman. Jane got out of the shower and saw me. "You look worse. Why don't you stay with your parents?" I denied the idea of getting evidence. After Jane went out, I contacted my dad, and he gave me the name and number of the lawyer. I called him and explained everything. He told me the captions I took from my laptop are useless. They don't have any factual evidence since it's not AP's name, and she was smart enough to leave pieces of conversation that look pretty innocent. I can take pictures of them at the mall, but she can argue they're just good fellas, and I can't invade the residential area without permission because it might get me into more trouble. At work, I was in zombie mode, thinking about how to get evidence. I might install secret cameras in my house, but Baldy rarely goes to my home, and Jane might find them. Unless I'm out of the picture. I texted Jane and told her I'm positive of the bug, and I'll stay at my parents' because I might need help. She liked the idea and told me she would miss me, but she'll call me every day. When I hung up, I called my dad and my brother. When I got home, she had already packed a suitcase for me. She was so eager to get rid of me. I told her I'd take my laptop, and then I checked her messages. "Boss will be out of the office. Want to come to my desk?" She sent this message almost after I told her I was positive for the bug. "Good," she bit. We didn't have dinner, no kisses, no hugs. I noticed her watching her watch twice. From a door, I told her, "I'll miss you." I was expecting her to shut the door in my face, but she walked me to my car. And I was gone. My dad and brother were outside the building waiting for Baldy to appear, but he didn't show up. After half an hour, I thought, why did she walk me to my car? Of course, because Baldy was already inside the building, waiting perhaps inside her car. It would be very suspicious if her masseuse came at this hour. I came back, hurried to my house, and entered silently. I heard music coming from the bedroom and the moaning. Next to the door, there is a sofa. His and her clothes were on it. I put my phone to record and opened the bedroom door, and there she was, my wife, the love of my life for 11 years in all, and Baldy behind her. I got a very good second of both of their faces when they saw me open the door. Jane screamed and covered herself with a blanket. Baldy went alpha male immediately, walking naked towards me. I took a shot of him doing raw my wife. He yelled aggressively at me, "Why don't you go for a walk, buddy?" I hit his throat with my hand open. I saw this movement in the Mel Gibson movie Ransom. The next second, Baldy was coughing and gasping, kneeling on the floor. I yelled, "Get out of my house," and kicked him out. I threw his clothes at him when my dad, brother, and Mr. P were arriving at my house. I told them, "I'll take it from here," and closed the door. Jane was still on the bed, covering herself. She was trembling. I told her, "I have never hurt you, nor will I. Get dressed. I'll wait for you in the living room." While I was waiting, I sent the video to my lawyer, and he answered, "I'm sorry for you, but jackpot." A few minutes later, Jane showed up. She couldn't look me in the eyes. I started recording the conversation. I asked why. She didn't answer. "Was I such an awful husband to you?" She started crying but didn't answer. "Do you love him?" She shook her head, but no words. I stood up and hit the table. "Say something, Jane. Damn it." She opened her eyes wide and started trembling again, like a puppy when it is scared. I have never yelled at her before. I sat and talked calmly. "My lawyer will contact you for the divorce. Get a lawyer." She finally spoke. "We can fix this." "Fix what?" "Our marriage was over since Baldy was on the picture, and you choose him over me." "It was a mistake." "No, it wasn't. It was a choice. You chose, and this is the consequence." "What did you think would happen when I found out?" Silence again. "Go to your sisters and tell her the truth, or I will show her the video." She went to the bedroom and started packing. I followed her and watched. Since 2 days ago, I have been trying to convince myself my wife is long gone. The person who I share my house with is not my wife. But seeing her, putting her clothes inside the suitcase neatly, with her gracious movements and those little things I love about her, hit me hard. I went to the spare room and started ugly crying. I heard when she closed the main door. She picked up her clothes that were on the sofa. She made the bed where I caught them, and I dropped on the floor. So much later, I called my dad. He told me Baldy wanted to press charges, but missed her. P told him he didn't sign in, so he's trespassing. The condo can sue him. He dropped it and went out. My nosy brother pressed his ear on the door, and my dad took him from the other ear to his car. I was exhausted. The previous days, I didn't sleep well, so I almost passed out in the spare room. The next morning, my phone had a lot of Jane's messages apologizing and asking for a second chance. I just blocked her. My SIL called me. Apparently, Jane hasn't told her what happened, just that we're fighting. I guess it's good my FIL is not alive to see Jane's behavior. She was the youngest and his favorite. MIL has senile dementia. All this happened a week ago. Next week, Jane is going to be served. Update. Hi, everybody. I'm back with a juicy update. You'll enjoy this as much as I do. I like to cover some points before start the update. First, I want to thank everybody who contacted me and gave me advice, congratulated me, or just to let me know they care. I've read from other posts that the support you get is mind-blowing, but it's the first time I've experienced so much care from strangers. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Second, as you can guess, English is my second language, so I messed up in some sentences and confused prepositions. Sorry about that. Also, I wrongly said Jane was doing sit-ups. She was doing squats. Third, to those who think my story is fake, you are entitled to think whatever you want. I just hope my testimony helps someone in the future as much as others have helped me. Fourth, about how I hit AP. It was not a fancy ninja punch, just a chop in the throat that, frankly, it was lucky I reacted before Baldy did. I won't lie, seeing him on the floor coughing felt great. Fifth, some of the readers found a post I made in askreddit a month before D-Day. I never got it posted because I didn't understand the rules of the community, and today it isn't important anymore. A quick summary. Jane and I were trying to be parents for 10 years. In the 8th year, we saved enough money to buy 3 opportunities at the most expensive and successful reproduction clinic here in my country. All 3 failed. Jane started her affair during the 3rd one. That's the clinic where my blood was tested, and adding the history of diseases from my family, they gave me the probabilities of developing diabetes, gout, hypertension, and having strokes. I should thank them. Someone mentioned that Jane intentionally aborted the 3rd shot because it might be AP's baby. Well, that's not possible, because for her it's almost impossible to conceive naturally. The embryos were fecundated in vitro and then implanted directly in her womb. I tried to repost my question, but she came and told me, I don't want to have kids anymore, so I dropped it. I am sure Baldy doesn't have anything to do with her decision. This is important for later. Let's continue with the update. It's been 12 days since D-Day. What have I been doing from there? D-Day +1 Friday. I had a nice chat with Mr. P. He confessed he faked his shoulder pain. He just wanted to warn me about Baldy. Also, he told me a very nosy neighbor saw when I kicked Baldy out naked from my apartment. Surely in a week, all the condo will know my situation. My brother came to help me change the lock of the door. When he left, I felt so alone and cried a lot. I called my job to ask for a day off. At night, I spoke to my lawyer. He said he's making the divorce papers. He couldn't start until he had the evidence. So my divorce will be divorce by mutual consent, which is smoother than uncaused divorce, which is longer and pretty nasty. Also, he told me not to share the video. Jane will be served in 2 weeks. SIL called me, but I told her to ask Jane why we're divorcing. D-Day +2, Saturday. SGL came, and I showed her the video. I drove her home and saw Jane's car. When I got home, I still felt crushed and cried some more. D-Day +3, Sunday. I visited my parents. My mom cried with me. She really loved Jane, and my dad had a chat with me about my money, properties, and stuff. When I returned home, Mr. P told me Jane and Baldy showed up. I guess they're going to make public their relationship now that the cat is out of the bag. But strangely, they came at different times. Jane came in the morning. She parked her car and saw mine wasn't there. I tried to enter my house, but her key doesn't work anymore. Then she asked Mr. P if he knew where I went. He didn't know and told her, Mr. Opie gave me this for you, my attorney's card. She kept it and left. Baldy came in the afternoon and first asked to see Jane. Mr. P told him Mrs. Jane, emphasis on Mrs., doesn't live here anymore, then asked to see me, and Mr. P told him Mr. Opie is away. No idea when he'll return, and he left. I guess they both are not in contact yet. I wanted to ask about Jane. Is she sad? Did she look healthy? Did she ask about my well-being? But then I remembered D-Day and just thanked and said good night to Mr. P. When I got home, I cried a lot again. D-Day +4, Mon. I didn't want to, but something I learned from all you champions is to hit the gym hard. So I looked for a new gym near my job and had a good session. I felt pretty good. Then I returned to work. At home, I didn't cry this time and start taking out all Jane's pictures. D-Day +5, Tuesday. I had a meeting with my lawyer to review my assets. Fortunately, my dad made Jane sign a prenup, so she can't touch anything I had before we got married, my house mainly. All remaining stuff gets divided 50-50, and I can get compensation for her adultery. As compensation, I'm going to take out alimony. I can fight for all the stuff, but everything reminds me of her, and I want to start anew. When I left home, I heard whispers. I turned my head and saw 2 neighbors that immediately pretended they didn't see me. They walked in front of me and greeted me. I knew this would happen. After that, I went to the gym and work. This repeats all week, so I'm going to omit it. D-Day +6, Wed. Nothing interesting. I only have FB as social media. I ignore all DMs asking me to contact Jane. I closed it and opened Reddit and had a nice time reading about all you champions that overcome what I have been experiencing. I felt better, so I thought of sharing my own experience. D-Day +7, Thursday, I started writing. I posted it before going to the gym. While I was at work, it amazed me how many people were reacting to my story. I answered some comments. D-Day +8, Friday. I was reading comments and answering all morning. I was smiling. It feels good to be appreciated. 2 comments stuck in my mind that I didn't think about. 1, report AP to my old gym. And 2, my home is tainted. I need a fresh start. So before I went to the gym, I looked for real estate agents to sell or rent my house. I'm not comfortable here anymore. I haven't entered my bedroom since D-Day. I've been sleeping in the spare room. I don't want to live like this. D-Day +9, Sat. Since Jane would come and bother me, I decided to spend the day outside. She did come, and then she visited my parents and brother. They just texted me. Jane came. I answered, "Thank you. I don't want to talk about her yet." D-Day plus 10. Son, I spent the day with my parents. We visited a town 2 hours from the city and had a blast. I don't know if Jane came. My dad told me not to sell my house, but to rent it. I agreed and went home. When I got home, Mr. P told me Baldy came in the afternoon and alone again. He asked for me, but Mr. P told him I'm away. He left without a word. D-Day plus 11. Mon, yesterday, Monday morning, I went to my old gym. I was not sure if I'd meet Baldy. He worked in the afternoon, but he was screwing my wife in the afternoon, so I thought he'd change his shift. He was nowhere. I asked to talk to Frank, the gym owner. While I was waiting for him, I met an old janitor I used to chat with. He told me to say hi to Miss Jane. I guess my new normal is to tell everybody we split up. I smiled at him. Frank finally received me. I asked about Baldy. He told me Monday is his day off. He asked for more hours, and now he works from Tuesday to Sunday in the morning. Then I explained the reason for my visit. He listened carefully until I finished and finally showed him the video. He stayed silent and thinking. He said, "You're not going to like this." I just thought, what now? Frank called the receptionist to bring Harry, another coach, and Baldy's friend. He has a big beard. Frank asked him to tell me about Baldy's girlfriend. Fasten your seatbelts. This is good. According to Harry, Baldy is heads over heels for Jane, and Frank confirmed it. He told me Baldy had many complaints, especially from female members, but for the last few months, he has changed. No complaints, and he's very professional to all members. And Harry told me something that made my jaw drop. Baldy is trying to marry Jane by baby trapping her. I was processing this information when I felt something starting from my chest. It climbed up my throat and finally blew up in my mouth. I laughed. I swear I was Joker madly laughing. I even teared up a bit. Frank and Harry were very confused. I thought, oh sweet karma, thank you. After I calmed down, I had a big grin on my face. Harry asked what was going on, and Frank explained, this is Baldy's girlfriend's husband. Harry made a shocked face. Oh man, this is bad. This is really messed up. Harry left. Next we discussed firing Baldy. Frank said he has to report the situation to the coach association, not the real name, and he surely has to fire him because Jane was a gym member or Frank's gym could have legal repercussions. About his license as a coach, I need to make a legal document explaining Baldy is the reason for my divorce, the key number of my divorce case, and the video. My attorney will give the video to the coach association's attorney. I can't share it. Baldy will lose his license from that association, but he can go to another association and apply for another license. It'd take months, though. I asked if Baldy can appeal. Frank said he might, but it would be a waste of energy. The association does not tolerate such conduct. Also, he doesn't have the money to pay for somebody who represents him. That reminded me of the residential area where he entered with Jane. I thought Baldy was wealthy. Frank brought his face closer to me. What residential area? I showed on the Maps app. You tailed them to this place? I did, on D-Day -1. Frank got angry. That's where my late father's house is. After Frank's father passed away, he inherited the house. All the equipment that's obsolete or needs repair goes to that house. He lends Baldy the key to go and keeps some stuff occasionally, but he does not have permission to stay there. He surely has a copy of the key, and he might be living there illegally. He's going to investigate this further. I'll be easy since there are tons of cameras in that place. I was leaving the gym when I heard, Mr. OP, wait. It was Harry. He told me he was sorry about what's happening. Baldy never told him who his girlfriend was. He just said that he met her at XXX Mall. I thanked him and took a step towards the exit. He rushed. Can you tell me what happened? I told him pretty much what you heard. He was screwing my wife, and now I'm divorcing her. Another step. What will happen to Baldy? That depends on Frank and the coach association. I try to take another step. But how are you handling it? Okay, now, this is strange. I stared at Harry and remembered Baldy went to my house twice. I said, you called Baldy, and he's on his way here, right? You're just buying time. Am I wrong? He made a guilty face. Please, Mr. Opie, talk to him. He's really desperate. He was crying yesterday. His girlfriend, I mean your wife, isn't returning his calls. Tell me, why should I care if he's rotting in hell? I'll be here with you. so you don't be scared. I laughed. Scared? Of that weakling? He didn't tell you I kicked him out of my house naked, right? Harry didn't believe me. Fine, let's see what he wants. I saw there were cameras where we were talking and sat in front of a table in the reception. I don't think Baldy is stupid enough to attack me, but who knows? Besides, I'm really curious about what he wants. He came running 10 minutes later and saw me waiting for him. He extended his hand. I crossed my arms and left him with the hand hanging. What the hell do you want? I looked angrily directly into his eyes. He sat in front of me. Listen, buddy, stop right there. We're not buddies. Mr. S, the janitor, is my buddy. You are not. He seemed apologetic. Okay, my bad. I want to say I'm sorry for everything. I never wanted to hurt you, and I really care about Jane. Well, you just said 3 lies to my face. You are not sorry. You didn't mean to destroy my life, and you just care about yourself. He changed from apologetic to annoyed. Okay, whatever, man. Just tell me where Jane is. The last time I saw her was when I kicked her cheating ass out of my house after I kicked you out naked. I know Harry was listening. Baldy's face changed color to red. That was a cheap shot. I should sue you. As far as I know, you entered my home illegally, and perhaps you were raping my wife. I have videos of you getting out, but you didn't sign in. He changed again. Okay, I'm sorry. Tell me what you want from me. Please tell Jane I need to speak to her. In that moment, Frank came in a rush. I guess he saw through the cameras that Baldy showed up. Everything okay here? Everything is fine, Frank. I was just telling this sissy what I want. I stand up and talk close to Baldy's face. What I want is what is coming for you. What you deserve. What the law has prepared for you. I want to crush your dreams, just like you did with mine. You want kids? Guess what? You won't, and you will never have. Baldy said, what's that supposed to? But Frank asked him to see him in his office. Harry looked impressed. He grabbed Baldy's arm and pulled him. Dude, you're in deep shit. I finally left. D-Day plus 12, Tuesday. I feel I am ready to face Jane now. I'm still grinning while I type this. So how have you been? TLDR. I caught my wife with our gym coach in our bed, and I know when and how it started. Update 2. Hi again. I didn't expect to update so soon, but something important has happened. I'd like to share something that my therapist told me. Do you remember I started therapy because Jane suggested I'm having trust issues? Turns out I don't have any. I'm one step away from becoming a very gullible person. But the therapist noticed I have a lot of insecurities due to my obesity. Since I remember, I was the chubby, nerdy guy at school. Never boyfriend, always best friend. I had my first girlfriend at 18, and she dumped me a week later for a better-looking guy. I went to engineering high school, so ladies were few. My next relationship was in my 20s with a very toxic girl who blamed me for everything, even for the rain. She really did a number on me, making me feel guilty for anything that popped into her mind. Later, I started working because my family had money problems, and I didn't have another relationship until I met Jane at university. In the previous session to the last one with my therapist, we discussed my feelings about not having kids. She has helped me to get my priorities in order. Number 1, me and everything that covers myself, like physical, health, gym, and eating well, intelligence, studying, learning, mental challenges, and soul, beliefs, morals, and ethics. Number 2, people who live with me, Jane. Number 3, family and friends. Number 4, work. Number 5, leisure and entertainment. Last session was about Jane. The therapist asked about my plans. I told her I will divorce Jane. She told me it is normal I'm in such distress because my priority too is crumbling. I will have to pass for similar stages of grieving death: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I had to Google them because I forgot them. I am the bargaining stage because I'm thinking a lot of what ifs, e.g., what if she really is remorseful? What if we're the golden couple who will survive an infidelity? But the reality is that I will never trust her ever again. It will kill me knowing she's at home alone, doing God knows what when I'm at work. Torture for me. Depression is a dangerous stage in my case because it can lead me to gain weight again. I should stick to the gym and watch my diet closely. Hope this info helps people who are grieving. Now the update. I've been very busy. I applied for a promotion at my job. I could have taken it a long time ago, but it demands lots of traveling. I feel it will help me heal to be away. Also, I've been looking for a new place to live, and I found one small apartment perfect for me. I've already paid 3 months of rent in advance. I'll move as soon as possible. I haven't seen Jane since D-Day or Baldy since that Monday, when I am sure he was fired. On the bright side, one of my neighbors, a lady in her 50s, met me in the condo's elevator. She told me she hasn't seen Jane lately. I told her we're slipping apart, and then she happens to remember she's having a dinner and her single niece is coming for a few days, and I'm invited. It took me by surprise. It looks like I'm in the market again. My attorney told me Jane was going to be served last Friday, but we had some festivities in my country, so she was served last Sunday morning at my in-laws' home. The following Monday, somebody, Jane I guess, slid a letter under my door. 3 sheets, back and front, from Jane, mainly explaining what led her to cheat. Here we'll introduce the second villainess in the story, a coworker we'll call Flirty. I met her sometimes at Jane's work events, like Christmas or anniversary celebrations. She's really thin, almost skinny, and usually wears a lot of makeup. Also, she thinks every man wants to sleep with her. One time she told Jane I was staring at her. I did once because I could see her ribs, and I thought she was unhealthily thin. Anyway, according to Jane's letter, when she lost weight, Flirty approached her because she wanted them to be best friends since they're the 2 hotties at work. That's when the brainwash started. Flirty made her think she deserves a better man. She's entitled to. She told her I was a pathetic man that would try to own her now that she's hot. When the incident with the Smith machine happened, Flirty said to Jane, see, didn't I tell you? He wants to be your owner more than your husband. Jane bought it, and due to Flirty's manipulation, she was resentful to me for months. When we attended the gym at different times, Jane met Baldy accidentally at the mall, and he approached her. She confessed she had a crush on a guy similar to Baldy before I met her. She never told me that before. They went for a bite, and they both flirted. Jane showed Flirty Baldy's picture from FB, and she told her she'll be a dumb *TCH if she didn't F him. Besides, her pathetic husband, me, doesn't compare with that Greek god. She had the opportunity, she was eager to, so she did. Baldy took her to his house, which coincidentally is close to the mall where they ran into each other, so she doesn't know that's Frank's dad's home. All this happened 9 months ago. Flirty is a professional cheater. She told Jane how to cover her tracks, the work words code, to hide Baldy's contact, and to hide her map tracking history. She even told her that changing her phone password is stupid because I'll immediately suspect. Jane noticed Baldy hated when she talked about me, and as punishment, he made hickeys on her body. Now, I remember she started using pajamas to sleep because it was cold. He used to trash me, but she never played along. Meanwhile, Flirty used to tell her that she's entitled to this romance, and I deserve being cheated on because I'm a beta. During those months, she says she liked the feeling of danger and the thrill, and the sex with Baldy was good, but also hurt her seeing me struggle trying to be a better husband and knowing she was the reason for my pain. It was easier to ignore me and continue with the pleasure Baldy gave her. D-Day arrives. I completely blindsided her. She thought I was clueless. I'm going to write this part just like she wrote it. I was in shock, and I covered myself with a blanket by pure instinct. When I reacted, I saw you pushing and kicking Baldy out of the room and the house. When I heard you closing the door and coming back, I didn't know what to say. I have never seen you this angry before. Then you said, I have never hurt you, nor will I. That's true. In the years we've known each other, you have never hurt me, not even when we found out that it's my fault that we can't have children. After that, she heard me crying in the spare room. She wanted to comfort me, but how could she? In the main door, we have a mirror to check ourselves before going out. She looked at herself, but she couldn't bear the look. When she entered her car, she cried and told herself, what have I done? Baldy called her that night, but she blocked him. She arrived at SJL's house at about midnight, 2 hours later after the drama. Her house is around 40 minutes from mine. She was scared of telling SIL what happened because she's older and she has a very strong character. The next day, she told Flirty what had happened, and Flirty told her she should be happy that she got rid of me. I'm going to copy this part too. J. And then what? F. Babe, you are free. You can have sex with Baldy or any guy you want. J. And then F. I don't follow you. J. What will happen when I'm tired of having sex with a bunch of guys? F. Then you can decide which one date seriously. J. And then what? F. I don't know, get married, I suppose. J. But I already had a marriage. F. But it was with OP. He's a loser. I bet Baldy is 100 times better than him. J. No, that's not true. He gave me a good life. F. Don't settle for so little. You can have a better man. Then they proceed to have a big fight in front of the co-workers. She can't recall it well, but she remembers swearing and yelling at her. Flirty told her that any guy hotter than me is better than me. I don't get what she has against me, but Jane realized what she destroyed. She was inconsolable, and her boss let her go home early. The next day is when I showed SIL the video. Jane was babysitting SIL's twins. After I drove her home, SIL asked Jane to help her go to some errands, just the two of them. That was a lie. They parked at a park, and she demanded to know what was happening in her head to cheat on me. Jane cried and told her, I don't know. SIL confessed she was envious of our marriage. 11 years and not a huge fight. We both looked happy. She couldn't believe her little sister was capable of such a thing. Jane was there for her SGL when her ex-husband left her for another woman. Jane asked her not to kick her out, but SIL told her she could stay. After all, that house belongs to both of them, but she let her know she's very disappointed and she will side with me if I ever need her help. Jane understood. Next Sunday, Jane came to apologize, but I was not home. When she received my attorney's card, she called, and my attorney confirmed I hired him. She knew I was really going to divorce her, so she went to her new home and wrote a confession and sent it to everybody we both know. I started receiving messages and phone calls the following week, but I didn't want to read or answer. Now I've read some of the DM, and it is what she said. Most of them want to comfort me. One of her cousins said it takes guts to confess, so I should give her a try. The following week, she tried to distract herself with work, but it seems everybody now knows she cheated. If you are unfaithful, in my country people see you like an easy woman. So female co-workers don't talk to her, particularly flirty. And male co-workers are annoyingly friendly to her. She asked to be relocated, but it'll take months, so she quit her job the following Friday. She has a good amount of savings. We had our finances separated, and since I was the big earner, I paid for almost everything. The next day, she was looking for me, in her words, to beg me to take her back. She came here, but when she saw I wasn't home, she went to my parents. My dad refused to speak to her, but my mom was sympathetic and told her that she's sorry about all this, but her son, me, is really hurt and asked him not to talk about her anymore. Jane understood, but then went to my brothers. He told her, Opie is not here, and frankly, I don't want to talk to you, and closed the door in front of her face. She came back to her new house very sad. All last week, she has been reflecting on her actions, and she's been really depressed, realizing how much damage she has done to our relationship and to her family and mine. And all for meaningless pleasure coming from a douchebag that, in her words, believes vaccines are just a pharmacy scam and believes in astrology. Yeah, Baldy is heavily tattooed. He has a Taurus sign on his arm. SIL suggested Shago to therapy. I don't blame her. If my brother were in the same situation, I'd be very disappointed, but I try to make him realize what is wrong with him. She finally went to therapy, and her therapist suggested writing me this letter and coming clean to me. So she says all that is written in the letter is true. She swears on her life, if I take her back, there will be no spouse in the history of humanity more grateful, loyal, and honest than her. She suggests total access to her social media that I already had. She will always answer my calls no matter the situation, and I will never have friends that I don't approve of. There are more things about family and friends that I don't think it's important to share. Besides, it needs a lot of context. Finally, she pleads to meet me and let her apologize properly to my face. In her words, sorry doesn't start to describe what I'm feeling right now. What I think of this letter. The thing I can confirm is that she hadn't contacted Baldy until that Monday when he was fired and she confessed to family and friends. The rest could be partially true also. I'm sure it's been sweetened. For example, she does not mention when she called me jealous and immature. She does not mention letting Baldy do her raw, and she let him finish inside. She can give me all her passwords, But she lied to my face and gaslight me for 9 months, according to her, and she was very good at it. Besides, I don't want to be her jailer. As I said, I will never trust her ever again. Whenever I see her face, I'll also see Baldy's nape in front of her. I will not be her second option, nor will I be a doormat. I haven't replied yet, but I think I'll see her next weekend. TLDR, Jane sent me a letter. This is what she wrote and my reaction.